Okay. Listen, I can't say much, but we'll talk about it. Past interviews.
Yep.
Conversation off camera, not on camera, on camera, anything. We always had good conversation, and we always both agree that the Fredericton Police Force are doing fine work in the city. Now, myself, sort of like I don't feel the same way. Are you concerned that the Fredericton Police Force, like what's been going on?
Hey,
we had no murders, we got no people being shot, still safe. Still safe. I gotta give credit. Safe city, we had no murder last year. It's a safe city. But do we have a public relation problem?
I think, first of all, I support our police, as you know, and I've told you that before. They have a very difficult job to do. They deal with some very unsavory characters who will say a lot to them, will abuse them. They have to show their professionalism. They're only human beings. But I do, from time to time, concern myself with the public perception. And I will be working towards that. Sometimes where there's a perception, it becomes a reality. I think the majority of people support their police force and what they do. Every once in a while there are complaints. Every once in a while something happens that, maybe if it's even one police officer, that may bring that feeling of perception to the forefront. And sometimes I think it's good to deal with it head on. So I guess to answer your question, Charles, is I do plan on dealing with the perception issue to ensure that that there's good support from the public in their police force. I will not do it while there is a case before the courts are being dealt with, for very obvious reasons. And I guess that's about all I can tell you on that.
In Ontario, in Toronto, I hear they do drug tests on police officers. Should they have that here? Can the city enforce it when they have this union? It's a contract. When's their contract up?
Very shortly.
Very shortly.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Don't know.
I don't know that.
Don't know if they can have.
You're the first person to ever ask me that.
No, I mean, that's what they have in Ontario. You should read my blog more often. I haven't blogged it, sorry. I know you read the blog anyway. Shouldn't they be told if they want to work at the legislature or for the city? Isn't that sort of like a conflict? Are you concerned about that?
We provide policing services for the court system, Department of Justice, legislature. There are some advantages of being a provincial capital, and there are some responsibilities of being a provincial capital which sometimes are not in our favor. We do have to provide protection and service for some of these provincial institutions.
But at the legislature, they work there off time. They
Correct.
work on their own time. They carry the city's the gun, the weapons from the city. They wear
Correct.
it, but they're making good money, double time, triple time. And unfortunately, sometime if they get influenced by some, we won't mention any names, from some people in there, comes back to the police force. Should they be allowed in there? Should they be allowed to?
Well, first of all, there shouldn't be anybody inside anything influencing our police force. The police force are there to do their job in terms of keeping the law and keeping the peace. It's that simple. So, if you have information and proof that they have gone beyond that, and you are a person who has been targeted, then that's not right. So just let me know. Show me the evidence and show me the proof. They are there to enforce the rules and regulations of the legislature. You've been banned from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the problem with the police. They will enforce that if they're called to enforce it.
Oh, which they did before.
What you have to do is sit down with the Premier and say, Mr. Premier, I'm banned from here. You're the Premier. Why?
Did you know the premier, one of their first duty was to get me back in there?
Why aren't you back in?
And they couldn't do it because the government. I've been told this before I was banned, that the government has no say of what's going on at the legislature. It's separated from the government. It's the clerk and the sergeant at arms, and of course the speaker. But it's the clerk and the sergeant at arms that's in charge.
Really?
Yeah, and they told him, nope, Charles is not allowed here. But if I was allowed back in there, what would I be bitching about? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, if I was them, I'd let you back in just to get you off my back. I mean, the one thing I don't want to do with Charles LeBlanc is wind you up and get you upset.
But still, it's so funny. It's so funny. You must enjoy the cartoons I do of you there once in a while.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about your cartoons is you put a picture of me, you have this little thing coming out of my mouth with a bubble that says I'm saying things which are so bizarre, and I'm thinking to myself when I see it, I say, I hope people don't believe that and think that's me saying that.
Oh, you gotta have some fun. It's just like the political cartoon.
I read your stuff all the time. People have asked me about you, and you're harmless. I mean, you're a pain. You are a pain. There's no doubt about that. But what have I told you many times? As a friend,
Yeah.
you take wonderful pictures. You cover things that a lot of people wouldn't see. I've always been honest with you and told you that sometimes you go too far.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a bone like a dog, and you won't let it go.
Scottish.
Yeah, and Scottish is no excuse either. I mean, you got to live and let live. Do your job, get it over with, and go on to another issue. There's all kinds of things out there to cover.
You got that one right. Final point
Yeah.
of this issue. How much money it costs for the Fredericton Police Force here? Would it be cheaper to have the RCMP?
No,
Why is that?
not interested.
Not interested at all?
No.
How come?
We have a municipal police force that does a good job for us, and RCMP can be very, very expensive.
Have you talked to the
federal
mayor?
force.
Have you talked to the mayor of Upton about that? How much money it costs?
Yeah, they haven't been very happy about their level of service and what the costs are. I mean, this is dictated at the federal level. The federal level, I'm not so sure how they would go about enforcing city bylaws and things like that. There's a number of conflicts. Our people in our police force, not only are police officers, but they're very involved in the community. They coach hockey. They do a whole lot of things. There's some advantages to having a police force that is a municipal force. I have no problems with that.
And maybe by this time next year I'll be praising them once again. Okay, we'll leave it at that.